will triumph with lots of love. Lots of love, lots of love, lots of love, lots of love.
Hello everyone, it's me, Sukai Todd, and you are currently watching Sukai Todd's Thoughts. And for once it's not 2 a.m. and for once my sinuses aren't tormenting me. Knock on wood. But be warned, you might hear me sipping some tea, some Milo tea while I talk, so I can stay hydrated for once. So yeah, please enjoy, and I want to put the disclaimer that I always do. These are my purely subjective thoughts. Take what you want, leave the rest, and enjoy. Also, I just want to say that the reason I'm commenting on this is not just because it popped up on my feed again, but I just really wanted to open up a broader discussion because this is not the first time Snow White has been retold by a company. Now, I don't know how good or bad the movie was, but there was this movie called Snow White and the Huntsman. It came in the 2010s, I believe, mid-2010s. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it wasn't the first time that someone was retelling Snow White. Granted, the ones that we're talking about have to do with Disney Corporation and, of course, Daily Wire. Both companies which I have bones to pick with. But I also know that neither company cares about my feelings, so it doesn't really make a fucking difference. But with all that said, I also want to make this clear. What you're going to see in the next couple of images, because I don't want Disney to slaughter me over using copyrighted material, some viewers might find laughably disturbing. And I want to say this, even though I don't like Rachel Zegler, she shouldn't be receiving death threats. I think that's wrong. No form of bullying will make a bully any better, okay? And even though she was definitely curated in her interview with Haley Bailey, I hope I'm saying her name right, I love you, Ariel. I'm just going to call her Ariel because as much as I don't like The Little Mermaid's premise and the way they handled it, I do like Haley, so. Love you, Ariel. Thank you, girl. We love you, Ariel. But just brace yourself for what I'm going to talk about first, because it might not be pleasant to look at. And we are going to have to look at it for a couple of minutes, so just clutch your pearls, check your bank account, whatever you need to do. I know, it's horrific. And the sad thing is, this isn't even a recent set photo. This was leaked in sometime mid to late 2023, so it makes it even sadder. I know it's hard to watch, but okay, all puns aside, I feel like, how can I say this? Disney Corporation has shot themselves in the foot so many times, but what gets on my nerves is that Disney, in one of their most recent releases for the child audience, aka Descendants Rise of Red, which is technically a spinoff, talked about how what makes one of the main characters strong is her kindness, which to me sounds like backpedaling. Yeah, that's yeah, I had to make it that dramatic. Yeah, it sounds like backpedaling to me. Not that I don't enjoy the Descendants franchise, I do. And R.I.P. to the late Kevin Royce. God rest his soul. I hope he's dancing in heaven. But the Descendants franchise has stuff in it that I don't agree with. Granted, it's targeted towards children up until now, which I think now they've started to realize that the majority of the Descendants fan base is not my niece's age, and the age group that I am, late teens to 20s to even 30s in some cases. Which 30-year-old is not middle-aged. Just want to say that. That's not until 40 at the very least, from what I've researched. Pardon me. But what gets on my nerves is that, as much as I like that movie, and the tribute to Cameron Boyce, the late great Cameron Boyce, R.I.P., God rest his soul, is that Ella, Cinderella's younger self, talks about how Bridget, one of the main characters' younger selves, is strong because she's kind. That felt like a total backpedal. Even watching it outside of the context of the mess that Disney is in, I'm like, Disney, Disney, you're acting like you didn't shoot yourself in the foot with an AK-48. You're putting a Band-Aid on. It's not even the Titanic anymore. Like, people are on lifeboats swimming to the nearest exit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if some sort of, like, ghost ship insurance fraud happened. Like, with was it the Mary Celeste, where somebody tried to use insurance fraud because the ship was, like, screwed over and it already had bad karma? Like, I don't know. But that's the vibe I'm getting. Like, not only has the entirety of the audience, or most of the audience, left in terms of the Snow White fiasco, but I feel like the company itself is hanging in the sense of public opinion, the court of public opinion. And it's not due to simple wokeness, because there is a difference between woke and pandering, which we'll get into now. Okay, big disclaimer before we get into the difference between wokeness and just flat out pandering. The Daily Wire Snow White is still pandering, if it wasn't already obvious. Like, the Daily Wire Snow White and the Evil Queen, I guess is the title they're going with. Good job at jabbing at Disney. I will give them credit where credit's due. But, I don't mind the jabs at Disney. Especially because Daily Wire is so fucking hypocritical. But, hypocrisy meeting hypocrisy. That's all I'll say. But, my issue with the Daily Wire Snow White, besides it being on the Daily Wire, literally anywhere else, please, is the fact that they're pandering to not just the anti-woke grifting market. They're pandering to people really of all kinds who don't like the new Disney corporation take on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's really sad, honestly. If, like, I still wouldn't mind Gal Gadot being the evil queen in, you know, Disney's remake, if you want to call it that. To me, it's a dumpster fire. Which they really need to, like, put said dumpster fire into an incinerator and just let it let it die. I refuse to say go. Just let it die, Disney. Save yourself the trouble. It will, because I don't believe in hate watching anything. I believe in voting with my dollar. So, and since the Daily Wire is a subscription, I am looking forward to someone leaking this movie online so I don't have to pay for it. Not saying I'll watch it illegally or anything, because if it's on YouTube and if the Daily Wire gets intelligent with their subscription service and decides to upload it on YouTube themselves to make a little extra streaming money, then yeah, I'll definitely watch it. But I'm not gonna subscribe to the Daily Wire just to see one movie. I refuse. I have too much dignity for that. Like, ew, no. But, yeah. My thing is, with the Daily Wire's version of Snow White, is that I used to watch the comment section with Brett Cooper, and to be honest, whenever she gushes about Taylor Swift, I still love it. Because she's hiding, like, this underground liberalism that she clearly has some kind of liberal views, I can tell. Like, she thinks that we're living in a matriarchy, and it's like, girl, no. But also, she does understand the basics of feminism, which is equal rights for men and women, although she's, you know, conservative, so she's like, there are only two genders, da-da-da-da-da. She's like, whatever. We're in the modern century, grow up, please. But since she's playing Snow White, sorry to the Daily Wire fans, I had to say it. And for those who might not have gotten the pun, I'm saying because Snow White was like 13 in the original movie, which we will get to. Not gonna open up the can of worms that is the prince in terms of totality of the story, but I will discuss what the prince means in the story. But the biggest controversy surrounding this, other than Rachel Zegler's big mouth, is that, and no, I won't do an impression of her original interviews because even I can't pull that off. Says a lot, doesn't it? Is that when it comes to women in power, like, there were two extremely strong female characters in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in the original movie. And even in the Grimm Brothers fairy tale, or Brothers Grimm fairy tale, excuse me, it was a very clear dichotomy of two powerful women and, you know, the power that they held, which, yeah, it was written at a different time. It does have a date and time that it was written, both by Brothers Grimm and then when it was Walt Disney-fied. I refuse to say Disney corporate, but Walt Disney-fied with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But apparently, I've researched this. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs does follow the Grimm Brothers fairy tale, or Brothers Grimm fairy tale, pretty closely. Not exactly, because if you know anything about poetry and or Brothers Grimm, there's a reason their last name is Grimm. But no, the point I want to get to is that Snow White and the Evil Queen were both very powerful. The prince, and this is probably common knowledge, but if it's not to any of you, if any of you actually believe what Rachel said, here to burst that bubble worse than Hannah's downfall. Okay? Sorry, had to make the joke. Because it's sad if people actually listened to what she said and believed it. The prince was in the movie, and I've seen the movie as a child, the 1937 film, for like 3 minutes maximum. He was in there for like half of the first I'm Wishing song, second half, mind you, and then he was like looking for Snow White at one point, and then he kisses her to save her at the end. And when he saves her, it's assumed that she's dead, but like the kiss of the power of true love saves her. So it's like, what's wrong with that? I believe you can be an extremely powerful woman and still know how to housekeep. There's nothing wrong with knowing how to do household chores. If you know how to cook and clean, that is not limited to women. That is not a racial or gender thing. It's not racially thing, and it's not gender thing. Those are basic life skills. Cooking and cleaning whilst living with someone or even by yourself, those are basic life skills. Basic fucking life skills. Nothing shocking about it. Moreover, Snow White was released like right on the cusp of World War II, if I'm not mistaken. So that speaks for itself in a certain way. But what gets me is that the evil queen, keyword queen, I mean, yeah, evil is a keyword there too, but the evil queen, the evil stepmother, she was a woman in power. Not only that, Snow White's power was her, can you guess it? Kindness. Her strength? Kindness. Her power was not being vengeful, bitter, and horrendous like her evil stepmother. Her power was in her gentle nature. And just because she was gentle didn't mean she was breakable. She wasn't. She was manipulated by her stepmother, who literally turned into an old hag just to prove a point that was ultimately proven true, that she was an old hag. Like, she lowered herself to prove that point. What is not clicking with the modern audiences? Nothing. Everything is making sense. Like, I would be considered a modern audience. And guess what? I think Snow White is probably the strongest, or one of the strongest, Disney female leads probably ever written. I know that might be a hot take, bold claim, unpopular opinion, or what have you, but she is. She has basic life skills at age 14, mind you, 13 to 14. She's already met her future husband, props for that. Sorry, bad pun. But she also respects the dwarves, and the dwarves learn to respect and defend her. And she treats them with kindness, gentleness, but she also holds power as a maternal figure. So I really don't see the issue with the original. The only issues I see, other than the age difference between the prince and Snow White, and that's a can of worms I'm not dealing with today, is that the dwarves do have some sort of infantilized sexualization with her, which is like gross. But at the same time, given the time that the movie was written in, while I don't condone it, I can kind of look past it. Not saying I condone it, because sexualization of a minor is wrong in any case. But it's a fictional movie. And for all we know, Disney may have shown us that as a way for us to gain perspective. Walt Disney may have written that as a way to gain perspective on how the dwarves think, whether it be always positive or negative towards Snow White herself. And my issue with Zegler, and it's an issue that seems racially motivated. I don't hate her because of her skin color. I don't think there's anything wrong with a Hispanic actress doing great in Hollywood. Like, it's nothing like that. My issue is her attitude, which has apparently changed, heavy quotes around that one, recently. Like, I would have been fine with Gal Gadot playing I'm sorry if I butchered her last name, playing the evil queen, had she had someone opposite her who was, like, kind and gentle and, okay, I'm just gonna get to it. I'll just say it. Forgive me, people. Brett Cooper and opposite of Gal Gadot. That would be something. Somebody AI that, please. I'm not asking. Okay? Hate to sound like Miguel from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but I'm not asking. Just do it, please. When these movies come out, somebody fix them. Somebody in the fan film community, just do it. Don't look at me. Yes, I'm pale as a ghost, but my role would be Aurora, Sleeping Beauty. So there's that. I don't have the right hair color or eye color for Snow White, so, you know. Although, I had a couple of people tell me when I was younger I was Snow White. I had that nickname a couple of times. Just because of how insanely pale I was as a child, but that's neither here nor there. Nope, don't even think about it. If you want me in a fan film based on any Disney character, it's Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, or what's a Disney princess I like? I can't play Mulan because she's Chinese, but I would love to play Mulan. Pay an homage to Mulan, the original movie, because I love the original Mulan film, but that's... My favorite princesses are Mulan, who is also a warrior. She's technically a warrior princess, but whatever. Princess Jasmine, who was a queen, and of course, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella. I could play Cinderella. I know that was and technically is considered one of the best live-action remakes by a lot of people. I still don't know. I haven't seen it in full, and it seems kind of like a setback to me, given that it was their first live action since Alice in Wonderland 2010. But who knows? I might watch it sometime. Also, just want to state this. I'm a fan of Alice 2010. Make of that what you will. But at least it stayed true to the source material. Let's give Tim Burton a little tiny bit of credit when it came to that movie. It stayed true to the source material. Alice was not some random chick who hated the story. Like, as far as I know, Mia Wasikowska, I'm sorry if I butchered her last name, Mia, aka Alice, she actually seemed to know her character very well. And if I remember when it came out, she said she actually grew up watching the original cartoon, so, animated version. So I love Alice, you know. And not just the Alice 2010, don't get it twisted. I love the original Alice in Wonderland as well. Don't twist my words. But yeah, this is the problem with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Too many remakes. Too many. Just too many. I'm honestly tempted to watch Snow White and the Huntsman because it's got, Bland Bella from whatever that show was that Battinson was in that I don't dare to say or remember because it's like, oh. Mary Sue Bella in Snow White and the Huntsman. But I'll say this. At least she's white. No, that's all I have to say. What are your thoughts? Comment below. Thanks for watching. Bye.
I'm your little diamond, shine bright all night.